Hi, I'm Deanna Naylor. I'm here to tell you an incredible story. 4 years ago, I was hiking in Arkansas and I shattered my left elbow. I was rushed to the hospital in extreme pain and had emergency surgery. And in that surgery, I had 3 pieces of metal put into my elbow. That was followed by about 3 months of intense physical therapy to get my mobility and strength back. About six months after that initial surgery, it healed well enough for 2 pieces of the metal to come out. So to say I had a broken elbow is an understatement. I had scar tissue remaining from those surgeries. I had tight tendons. And about a year and a half ago, I started to have chronic pain associated with my elbow. And I'm extremely physical. I love physical activity. I lift weights. I do yoga. And so it started really impairing my life. I was starting to get discouraged, and I thought that I would have to deal with this pain for the rest of my life, which is not a good place to be. If you deal with something like that, it's really a hopeless place. So I am blessed to be surrounded by pioneering doctors. They are all about restorative and regenerative medicine. And so one of those doctors actually introduced the idea of stem cell therapy to me regarding my elbow. And I was skeptical, to say the least. I really didn't know what stem cells were at that point. And some of the testimonies that I had heard were really too good to be true. But I started doing my own research, and I learned that these stem cells have major anti-inflammatory benefits. And there's been studies around degenerative joint disease and how they literally help to rebuild some of the cartilage in the joints, and also with osteoarthritis. So after a ton of research, literally about 6 months of researching this, I decided to get the therapy in my elbow. About 4 weeks after that therapy, my elbow started having better extension. I was able to have more mobility, and I was in a yoga class, and one of the poses in a yoga class is called the standing bow, and it requires a range of motion in the elbow. And I hadn't been able to do that in the 4 years that I had shattered the elbow, and I did it 4 weeks after this therapy. I was able to do this pose, and I looked in the mirror and was kind of dumbfounded. I was amazed by it. And simple things like I was able to start pulling my suitcase in the airport with my left hand again and not have chronic pain. After a workout, I didn't have to go right home and ice my elbow. The pain was gone. The mobility had increased. My elbow had changed. And I had worked out with a chiropractor, and she would work out the tendons, and she would kind of work out the scar tissue. And after the stem cell therapy, she even said to me, "Deanna, your scar has changed. It's softer, it's more malleable, it has more blood flow in it." And then she also started noticing that she could feel the tendons underneath the scar tissue again. And that hadn't happened since the surgery. So to sum it up, I am a big believer in stem cell therapy. It has impacted my life greatly. It's given me a new elbow. It has literally changed my life and made me realize that I don't have to have another surgery, that I can choose regeneration, that I can look to put things into my elbow like stem cells that will help to rebuild it. If you're dealing with chronic pain like I was, I highly encourage you to check this therapy out. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Young, a medical doctor and an avid tennis player, who about a year ago found out I couldn't play tennis anymore because my knee was so badly damaged. I did an MRI. I had 4 meniscal tears, bone-on-bone arthritis. The cartilage was gone. I was a mess. I tried glucosamine, I tried platelet-rich plasma, you name it, I tried it. Nothing helped. Could barely bend the knee. I limped around the office. I was in pain. Heard about umbilical cord stem cells. I was intrigued. I tried them. Put a 1/4 cc into my left knee, and 90 days later, I had a brand new knee. I was back on the tennis court. I was not limping around the office, completely changed my life. It also completely changed my practice, because whether it's arthritis, meniscal tears, things that I told, listen, there's nothing you can do, do something temporarily, get a scoped knee, it'll work for a couple of years, then get a knee replacement. That wasn't an option for me. And now, for myself, for my patients, there's a great option. You can rebuild a knee, and it's with umbilical cord stem cells. It's helped me and my patients, my family, and I'm sure it can help you also.
I was actually going on a hunting trip to New Mexico, and it hit me. I don't know what I did, I don't know how I heard it, but I went and saw a chiropractor there that I know, and I wasn't sure it was a herniated disc. Well, next thing you know, I'm pretty much crippled. Like, I can hardly get out of bed. It takes me about an hour and a half to walk to the shower, get in do my thing, and get out, get dressed. I mean, it's just excruciating pain. But I can look back over the last month since I had my first injection, and I can see a vast improvement in my pain level, my range of motion, everything else. Like, I've still got quite a ways to go, but I'm vastly better than I was 2 months ago.
I was an athlete, always active, always out there trying to improve, trying to get bigger, trying to get stronger. Up and through high school, college was the same way. Felt like Superman, acted like Superman. 25 came around and hit me with some cancer, testicular cancer, and brought me to my knees. I went through 47 plus rounds of chemotherapy. Come 2016 summertime is when I started feeling the pain, and just unbearable pain in my hips. The reason I have the problems with my hips, they say it's avascular necrosis, which is the death of the blood vessels and whatnot in your hip sockets. So what feeds your blood, or what feeds your bones and gives them the nutrients to grow, is your blood. And without circulation, your bones die. So my bones are becoming flat, the hips, and which is more pain than I can describe for you to understand. So that's why I came to Darcy to find out about the stem cells, and we did the injections 5 weeks ago, and the amount of improvement that I have is, I feel like it's unmeasurable. Anything's possible, Why not risk something that could change your life?
My ski lodged in an ice hole, and it was embarrassing because the ground was about like that. It wasn't dangerous, but my ski lodged in, and the back of my ski came up, and the other ski went straight, and I heard a loud pop, and I fell down, and I laid there, and I said, okay, this is it. I've actually hurt myself. Anybody that's ever hurt your knee, it's a constant problem every time you put pressure on it. And I was like, okay, it's a little better. I'm walking a little bit better. But I knew it was damaged. So we came up here. They treated it. They put it was 3 seconds. Just shunk and it was done. The next day, I stepped out and told Jennifer, I said, this is weird. I said, I know I feel a little stiff, but I said, there's something a little different. A week goes by, and I said, this has to be the placebo effect, because something's happening in my knee, and I'm walking up and down stairs every day. And I said, I'm not hurting. The one thing I never would check, because I knew what would happen, I would fall, and that was squatting. And I sat there and I squatted all the way down and back up. And I only did a little bit on the front. I said, I'm going to grab all this. Oh, okay. And I squatted the other day, and I wasn't lifting weights, but I squatted. I was like, that has not been able to be done.
I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease about 16 years ago. And so for that's a severe digestive, it's just very painful. So I couldn't eat or even drink water without cramping all the time. Shirley told us about these stem cells. So we came early December and had the stem cells. And it was like Mark. The next day, I thought, you know what? I think this is a lot better. This is really something different. A couple days later, I thought, I haven't had any cramping. I had 0 cramping. And it was something that happened every hour or two around the clock. 0 cramping. After a few days, I had a little bit of a return of that, but it was very short-lived. I don't know what that was about. But after that, it has just been a constant improvement. So I can say, I mean, I really have had probably, I would say, easily an 80% improvement in just my quality of life. So I'm a big believer. It's been a big change for me.
My background story is I have chronic Lyme disease, which turned into severe rheumatoid arthritis. And I have not been able to open my knees or walk on them very well without a lot of pain. So I've been very limited in what I could do. And I heard about the stem cells, came to hear a lecture with Dr. Young, was very impressed, and decided to go for it. So it's been about 3 months, 4 months since I had the injection. And I had it put in my right knee to start with. And I can say from the very beginning that I noticed that I could stand up straighter, which I was really surprised, which was wonderful for me. It took a lot of pressure off my back. The pain in my knee started to subside. I have had more flexibility in it. So I am very thrilled with it overall.
Well, I have this in my hand, a granuloma annulare, and so at that point he suggested that I try stem cell therapy because it really is something that comes, they really don't know how to get rid of it, and so he just suggested that, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot because I trust him, and I took a first injection and it started to go away, and then it's not painful. Mine wasn't painful, it just looked bad. And a lot of it all went away, and I went ahead and did another one, and it's all going away now.
The first 2 patients that we did was my mom, 71, with 10-year history of osteoarthritis of the knees, that graded out at about a 2 for both knees, I think. So she had her knee done, just did a quarter cc, and she would say that she was probably at times a 7 or 8 on a pain scale, and she felt that within probably 7 to 10 days she was down in the 2-3 range. So that was the immediate effect. And then Chad's daughter, one of my business partners, she's being recruited to play sand court volleyball by a couple of the schools in California. Her parents had consulted an orthopedic surgeon who really wanted to do surgery. She had a glenoid labrum tear and some fraying on a couple of the ligaments in the rotator cuff. He wanted to do surgery. They opted for stem cell treatment because they felt that she could miss her recruitment window and lose her chance to play college volleyball. Same thing, her arm was pretty much immobilized with pain for about a month, and 1 month after treatment now she has full range of motion in her shoulder with really no other treatments other than just organically increasing range of motion as her shoulder has allowed her to do so as she's felt better.